Hello there YouTube, this is Aqua Student, and it's Friday and it's been an absolutely horrible week. I'm so glad that it's the weekend. I can finally relax a little bit. It started off last weekend. I took a trip down. It was a 6.5 hour drive for a soccer game, and my teammates, it was almost like they didn't show up, and that's just, if you're gonna drive that far, play one of the best teams in the country, you better show up, bring your A game, and it's just disappointing. On top of that, I got to see my parents, which was great, but they told me that my dog Dudley, you saw him in the last video, wasn't doing very well, and on Tuesday of this week he ended up passing away, so that was really hard to deal with. I had another game on Tuesday that didn't go very well, and yesterday I had my GREs. Those actually didn't go too bad. I'm glad they're over with, at least the general part. I still have the physics coming up in a couple weeks. Then yesterday I was supposed to take my first advanced mechanics exam, but because I was taking the GREs, I asked my professor if I could just take them today, and I took those in between classes and between practice. So I had a full day today. It's been absolutely crazy. I'm exhausted, just sitting here enjoying the tanks, trying to relax a little bit for first time in too long. But yeah, let's just not worry about those problems and focus on some other things. The 55 gallon's doing quite well. No complaints here. When I did move in the all the other fish, when I took out the baby cichlids, that is, I took all the rocks out, did a complete rescape, completely cleaned the tank, and I moved the Tomatochromis Dante in here. Well, they did not like that. In retrospect, I should have been smarter about it and waited till I had multiple fish to put in. I thought doing a complete rescape would reset the territories and put everyone on an even ground, but it didn't. And so he ended up not making it, sadly. So that's another bad thing that's happened in the past couple of weeks. So, it's not been good. But other than that, this tank is doing quite well. You can see I actually don't think I had the background on my last video. It's amazing how much a simple thing like that really turns the tank around. But yeah, this whole upstairs area is looking better until the freaking landlord fixes the banister that he said he was going to do over the summer. Set up a couch, put my flag up. So yeah, the whole hallway is looking much nicer. Back inside my room, these are the baby cichlids. Let's see if I can do it without getting glare. This one, you could see them going down there. These guys have grown quite a bit over the past couple weeks. It's amazing, actually. They have gotten quite a bit more comfortable. I just ran up to the tank, and so they're a little nervous, but every morning when I go to feed them, they just come right up and feed from the top, just like any fish do once they get comfortable enough to, or at least any non-shy fish. Here's the 10 gallon. Earlier this week I had the chance to replace the CO2 finally, so I got DIY CO2 going in here and in the 5 gallon. You can see it's bubbling quite nicely. There's the scarlet baddies way in the back. For the diffuser on this tank, I'm just using a simple air stone. I didn't have an actual glass ceramics diffuser, so this is working well enough. I'm not going to say that it's as good, because it certainly isn't, but I mean it's better than nothing. And so yeah, hasn't really had much of a chance to get things going again on this tank, but definitely I'm glad to have that going again. There is something that I want to swing by you guys in a second. after I take a look at this. Here's the 5-gallon. I did sand vac, siphoned out the cleaned the substrate, I guess I'll put it that way. And so it looks a lot nicer. Everything's grown in well. I need to trim up a lot of that stuff in the middle because it's obviously overgrown. But it's definitely looking a lot nicer. The substrate's a lot cleaner. You can see the diffuser is doing quite well. And one thing I didn't notice before is, yes, hello Vesuvius. You will look awesome, I know. Anyway, this Anubias right here on the driftwood is actually, it's probably tripled in size since the last time I've looked at it. I just haven't paid attention to it in a while. It's just really cool to see. It's Anubias is a very slow growing plant generally, so it's actually cool to see progress on that. And let me adjust my seat. Crypt, this large crypt on the side is doing well. The only thing that's bothering me about this tank right now is the snail infestation. It's hard to get rid of. I might try the leaf, or not leaf of lettuce, piece of lettuce, stick it in the tank, pin it down with some rocks or something overnight, and in the morning pull it out, and a lot of the snails will be feeding off of it, in theory. I don't know if that's more for fish only tank or tanks without live plants, or if it's just in general, but we'll see. And you can definitely see the ADDs kicking in. The CO2 bubbles bubbling right up and even getting deflected by the leaves. It's kind of a cool picture. I don't know, I might point my camera at that in a little bit. It's another look at Vesuvius. It's kind of dark in here. Anyway, what I'd like to talk to you guys about is these guys. They're starting to get much larger. They're a little bit smaller than everyone in the main display tank, but their aggression is definitely starting to show. Let's see. This guy is definitely bossing everyone around. The Chuere is not too far in behind, and then the albino guy. And the Jacob's peacock, which is, where is he? He's probably hiding right now. He's been kind of getting chased around, mostly by the dragon blood. But what I was thinking is, once I get these guys into the main tank, I'm going to have this empty 29. And either I could sell it and earn the $50 or whatever I spent on that whole setup back, or I could upgrade the 10-gallon from here. Now I'm going to be oh, there's the Jacobs. I'm applying to graduate school right now, so it's kind of weird to not know where I'm going to be a year from now. But I do know that I'm going to have to move all this stuff. So my goal by the end of the year is to be down to 2 tanks, let's say. Probably the 55 in there. Actually, most likely the 55. And then either the 10, 29, or the 5. So one of those. My thoughts is to use this 29-gallon and do kind of an Amazon biotope. I think that would be really cool. I could move in the, I mean, it won't be an actual biotope because there's going to be random plants and things like that, but just kind of that that style. I'd move the neons in there, and I'd also, I don't know, I'd probably move the Scarlet in with the Betta. They were doing fine before, but I'd really like to do a pair of angelfish. I really like angelfish, but I'm not sure if this tank size is appropriate. On my research, I've heard all sorts of different responses. Some people say a 20 is good for a breeding pair, but that could also, I think that might be referring to just a breeding tank for them, just specifically just for breeding, or anything from like a 20 tall. I've heard is appropriate for them because they're more of a moving vertically instead of horizontal like a Zebradania would, which would need a longer tank instead. All the way up to nothing less than a 55. So there's kind of a huge range of responses, and I just want to get your take on it. What is appropriate for angelfish? I think a big size was also 30 gallons. So a 29 like this is not as long as a 30 is. 30 would be 36 inches or 3 feet long, and this is 30 inches. But this would also be taller, so they'd have more of the vertical space. So it's give and take, and especially if angelfish about this size, they would have decent amount of room moving around if they're the size of my hand. I feel like that's not too bad. Have a pair of angelfish, school of neon tetras that I'd eventually like to phase into something like a sarpe or cardinals, some sort of nice schooling fish. Maybe something like Corey's or School of Ottos. I don't know. It's kind of a work in progress, just thinking. But I'd like to get your take on that. What's good for angelfish? And I think it'd be sweet. Get nice plant growth growing up. I need to switch out the bulbs, which would not be a big deal. Or switch out the bulb. I think it'd be a good thing to do anyway, since it's been going for over a year now. But yeah, that's just my thoughts, and I'd like to get your take on it. I would really love to have angelfish. They seem like really cool creatures. And just rambling on. It's been a long week. Glad it's over. And thanks. This episode goes out to you, Dudley. You gave me 11 amazing years. Gave our family 11 amazing years, and you'll be dearly missed, and love you a lot, and all dogs go to heaven, so hopefully I'll see you there. Bye.